So here's our first hands-on exercise video, and this doesn't have much to do with the math, but it's important to understand this, and we'll use this in this math channel in the next exercise. So I'm going to include this as, let's set up a 4 to 20 milliamp input channel, just so everybody knows how to do that, and it'll work on into the next math exercises. Hands-on setting the math channel. First here, you'll need to press the menu key and bring up the screen for programming here. We need to make sure that recording and computating are not running, or any of the program changes that you try to make will not be saved, and you'll have to basically start all over again. So it's always wise to look here and make sure, again, you see your recording and computing icon. Don't, if those are running, we'll have to stop those. Then once you have stopped those from running, then here we will select the browse key or browse icon, and then the setting icon. And then once that occurs, you'll automatically be jumped into your settings display. And what we want to choose here is the IA channel settings for analog input settings. And we want to select the range here. Then we'll select channel number 1, and you'll see a first and last channel. This is so you can group them together. So if channels 1 and 2 or 1 through 5 were the same, you could do a first channel 1, last channel 5. In this case, we're going to have first channel 1, last channel 1. We're only going to do channel number 1 at a time. And then we're going to choose the type here, and the default is volt, so we're going to select that. And then we are going to select GS, which stands for general scaling. And the nice feature about this is this automatically selects the 1 to 5 volt range, and it puts in the span lower and upper for the voltages as 1 to 5. So this is a 4 to 20 milliamp input that we're assuming you got a 250 ohm resistor on, and it will set these up defaultly. You don't have anything else to set. And then the calculation should be set to linear scaling. And again, this is 250 ohm resistor with a 4 to 20, and basically, placed between the plus and minus terminals will get you a 1 to 5 volt signal out. Then let's set the decimal place here. Defaultly it's set as 2. Let's just make this change to 1. Then let's set our scaling. We're going to set our low scaling set for 0, and the upper is 1000 right now. We're going to modify that. I'm going to bring up that screen. You're going to see 1000 here, and you're going to have to basically use your BS or backspace key to basically backspace out, and then replace that with a 500 and select the enter. Then let's put in a unit. We'll call this GPM for our example. So select unit, when the screen comes up, put in GPM with the keyboard, then basically select enter. Then the next thing we need to do is let's select the display settings. This is where we set our tag. So we're going to select tag, and then we are going to put in this example, let's just put in flow 1. And then once we have that in there, we're going to select that. And then we're basically done with what we got to do for the settings of that. So we're going to select save. So we save all these changes that we just made to the recorder. Once we do that, we'll come back into our normal display screen that we left at. And we'll move on to our next exercise. So now we've come to hands-on exercise 2. This is where we're going to set up a totalizer using that tlog.sum function, and we'll explain it as we go along step by step, and also what we're doing here. First off, again, we are going to press the menu key and bring up the programming screen. We need to again check and make sure recording and computations not running, otherwise none of your programs will be changed. None of the settings you change will take effect. It'll give you an error, and you'll have to go back and stop this and then reprogram all over again. Then we're going to select the browse key and settings again, and on this time we're going to select the math channel settings and calculation expression. Then we need to set our math range on for math channel A001. Then we're going to select our calculation expression, which will bring up our pop-up screen where we can enter in the formula. Defaultly, it shows 0001 for channel number 1. And what we're going to do is use our backspace key or delete key and remove that 001, and then use our right arrow key to change to screen 2 of 2, and we're going to select our T-log dot. And that will display that on the screen there. The next thing we're going to do is select sum open parentheses. So as you see, we're building our formula. Then we're going to enter 001 for channel number 1, and then we're going to select the close parentheses, and then we're going to select OK. Okay, and what this is going to do is now you can see when we come back out, we've entered our formula, tlog.sum open parentheses 001 close. Now let's set our decimal place. We'd like to match that to our input channel, which we had set to 1 earlier. So we're going to change that to 1 decimal place. Then for our span upper, we're going to do something a little bit different. Seeing this is a totalizer, okay, the default is going to be 1,000. We're going to make this a little bit larger. Let's change this to 1 million. Again, remember from earlier, we could set this to 99,999,999 based on the decimal place. We've got 1 decimal place right here. So we could actually go up to 9,999,999. If by chance this number of 1 million would be reached too quickly, you can add a slash K02 at the end of that statement, or K01, whichever constant you want to use, and set that to 1,000. And what that would do is that would divide this total by 1,000. Thus, the totalized value in this channel would then be, gallon times 1,000 gallons. So this would basically realistically let you be able to count up to 99 billion for the total. Then we also want to set our unit. So let's put in gallons here. And remember, we only have six characters, so the word gallons is 7. So that's not going to work. So we'll just choose GALS and select enter. Then we need to tie this to a timer, because this is a T-log. This is a timer-based sum. So we're going to select timer number 1, or sorry, timer type. And what we're going to do is we're going to select, there's timer and there's match timer. The timer has a max range of only 24 hours. So I'm going to select match timer, which basically gives you a little bit more flexibility. Gives you the ability to do a day, week, month, or year. So if you needed to do a time, if you wanted to totalize for only like 8 hours, you would choose time here. Seeing that I'm going to do a day, we're going to select the match timer, which is a better choice. And again, that can be day, week, month, or year if you select match timer. Then you must select the sum scale. Okay, this is a T-log sum. So when it looks at the input, it's got to be divided by, the rate of the flow hooked to that channel and the scan rate that the recorder is running at. Remember earlier in the earlier video, I told you the scan rate could be 1 second, 5 seconds, 100 milliseconds, whatever. So this lets you not worry about doing the math for that. You select /minute because this is a GPM, and it will automatically calculate and do that calculation for you. Of course, if this was BTU or some rate that was per hour, you would select hour here instead. Then in our example, we're going to choose reset on. If you left it off, then basically we just totalize forever, but we're going to do a reset on the math so that we can reset based on our match timer, which is going to be daily in our example. Okay, then we're going to save those settings because we're done with the math settings itself. Then we're going to select the display settings for the math, and let's put in a tag here. Okay, so I'm going to put the tag as total gallons, and then I'm going to save that. Then we're going to choose the math actions here, and then as you see when that screen pops up in the center screen here, the center slide, you're going to see there's a couple of choices there. Value on error, start stop key action, and value on overflow. So the big things here are the value on error, and then what do you want to do if it doesn't overflow? And the overflow means that your input channel, in this case our 4 to 20, what happens if you lose power to that flow meter and that value goes below 4 milliamps or somehow goes over? We are going to choose skip here. The The default is error, and the problem with error is it would max out your totalizer and ruin your totalizer value. You'd have to reset and start over. So we're gonna choose skip for this, and that will basically ignore an error from the input channel and not cause our totalizer to go to plus over, and we won't have to manually reset it. Next, we'll do the group settings. Let's go from earlier, our first math channel. We're going to stick our first input channel, the 4 to 20 we programmed, and this math channel in the group settings. So we're going to go down to display settings, group settings. We can select a group name here. So I'm going to choose flow and enter that. Then we're going to select our channel set, and defaultly channels 1 through 10 will be selected here. We're going to basically remove 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 channels, and then we're going to select our math channel and add in A01. So in our last two slides here, we're going to have just channel 001 highlighted in the blue and A001 highlighted in the blue for the math channels. And what that's going to do is just put channels 1 and the math channel in this group by itself. Then select OK here. Then we're going to go do a save. Okay, so that'll save our changes. Our flow channel now has channel number 1 and the math channel, which is the totalizer. Then we're going to select our timer settings. When we select that, these are our timers, and you can see on the right part of the slide here, we've got 4 timers. Remember, those are limited to 24 hours max, and then we have our match timers. We've got 4 of those also. So we're going to select match timer 1, which is what we assigned to earlier. And we're going to select the type. It's off initially. We're going to change that to a day, and then we're going to make that timer action be repeat, so it'll constantly do that every day. And our match time conditions, we're going to leave the hour as 0 and the minute as 0, so that's going to be midnight every night. If you wanted this to be 7 a.m., you would just have to change your hour to 7 and then do a save, and you'd be doing a totalizer from 7 a.m. to 7 a.m. and resetting. Then we're going to go back out to our menu here and start our computation. As you can see already, our first group flow has got flow 1, which is our input channel, and our total gallons. We're going to start the math running here. And then you're going to see our flow is going to start increasing on your screen. Our flow is 250 GPM, and our totalizer will continue to go up for the day and then reset at midnight. Okay, now we're going to move on to our next hands-on.